Okay, in this video, I'm just gonna give you guys a few tips for your trip to Rio de Janeiro. This city doesn't have the best reputation when it comes to crime and safety. Maybe some of that is a little overblown, maybe not. Either way, I'm still gonna share with you guys a few safety tips you can implement during your stay in this beautiful city. The first safety tip on the list is where to stay. Which area to book your hotel, Airbnb, hostel, or any other accommodation. And without a doubt, if it's your first time, the best area to stay in the city is in the Zona Sul, which is the South Zone. So for example, you may have heard of Copacabana, Ipanema. These are in the South Zone. And because it's very touristy, you're gonna have more police presence, tons of restaurants, eateries, bars, more activity. And just overall, it's definitely where you want to be, especially if you don't speak Portuguese and your first time in the city. You don't want to be out and about somewhere by yourself where it necessarily isn't tourist friendly. Now, probably one of the main reasons why you're thinking about visiting Rio is for the beaches. You've seen videos, you've seen photos, and you just want to experience what it feels like to step your toes in the sand here. And I don't blame you. Just one thing or a few things you have to keep in mind is that hundreds of thousands, millions of tourists come down here to go to the same beaches that you want to go to. But not only that, you have the roughly, what is it now, like 6, 7, 8 million residents of Rio that also visit those same beaches. So it can get packed. The atmosphere is vibrant, it's festive, it's great. However, where you have a lot of people, you also have a lot of opportunities for, pickpocketing and robberies. And so one of the great ways to avoid that, and this first one is gonna be obvious, but I have to say it, is if you're traveling in a group, you take turns going out to the water. Kind of sucks for that last person. It's kind of like being a designated driver, but hey, someone has to do it. Not everyone will have the luxury of having someone else with them. Maybe you're traveling by yourself, which is fine. Sometimes you have to do what you gotta do. If your friends are procrastinating, you may need to take a trip by yourself. And yes, you can still go to the beach solo. So one safety rule you can do is not to bring your valuables to the beach. Maybe leave your phone, your iPod, your Kindle, things of that nature. Leave them back in your hotel or your apartment, and only take with you some cash and a photo ID. But the problem with that, if you're on vacation, most likely you want to take your phone with you for pictures, photos, videos, or you just want your phone with you for emergency purposes. In addition, only taking a little bit of cash with you may not work because you want to have a few drinks. After the beach, you may want to go grab something to eat, etc., etc. If you need to bring your valuables or some of your valuables with you and you're going by yourself, one recommendation is to see if someone nearby who's sitting next to you can watch your things while you take a dip in the water. However, the problem with this is if someone does snatch your things, I don't think the people that are watching your items are gonna play daredevil and try to chase them down. Maybe so, but I don't think that's gonna happen. But what I have seen is when I was at the beach, there was a lady who was by herself. There was a group of elderly women, and she would ask them if she can set her bags with them while she takes a quick dip in the water. She did that maybe 4 or 5 times. So I think that's a great one. Most people there, they don't like thieves either, and they're just trying to have a good time as well. And then also you can return the favor if someone else is in the same position. And since we're on this topic, let me go ahead and say that the beaches have lifeguard stations that are called postals. And I think in English that means post. Each postal will have a number on it. And so this is a great way to let people know where you are or if you're trying to find someone. So instead of just saying, hey, I'm at the beach on the right side, you can say, hey, I'm at the beach at postal 5. I'm at the beach at postal 6. And then if I'm not mistaken, each section has like a different vibe to it. I don't know all of them, but I know like some sections is more family friendly. And then there are some sections where it's like LGBT friendly. And then another section that caters more towards sports or maybe surfers or etc., etc. Now let's get back to the safety recommendations. I don't care what your complexion is, make sure to protect your skin. There was one time where I was out at the beach all day, just drinking, having a good time. Next thing I noticed, a few days later, my skin is peeling all next to my shoulder and my chest, top of my head. So again, make sure to protect your skin while you're out there because the sun is fairly strong. This next safety recommendation are for people who maybe you don't travel as much, especially internationally. One thing you will find out is if you have a strong stomach, a strong gut. If you don't know, and it's to be determined, then while in Rio, be careful with what you eat. Because the last thing you want is the first or second day of your trip, you get diarrhea, your stomach's hurting, you're sweating, your body's fatigued, and now half your trip is ruined. So when you're dining out, you may want to stick to reputable mid-tier restaurants instead of the mom and pop hole-in-the-wall shops. At least for the first few days, while your stomach gets accustomed to the different foods and ingredients and spices that they use in Brazil. And last but not least, I'm gonna finish off with safety recommendations that you should use not only in this city, but just everywhere in the world. So the first one is to take a photo of your passport so that you can carry that with you when you're out and about instead of your actual passport. Because if you lose it, it could be a problem trying to get a new one, especially if you have to be home soon before work. The next one is to do the same for your health card so that you can carry it around, because some establishments will ask you for it. And last but not least, for our bank cards, make sure you always carry at least 2 of them, whether it be 2 credit cards, credit card and debit card. And that's because you want to have an extra one just in case one is lost or stolen. And then never carry both of them with you at the same time. So if you're going out to eat, just carry your credit card and then leave the debit one at home. So with all that being said, these are just a few safety tips, a few recommendations to keep in mind while you're in Rio de Janeiro. Definitely a lovely city, beautiful, tons of things to do. I'm gonna go ahead and end it right here. I hope these tips have helped. I hope you have found some value in this video, and I'll catch you guys at the next one. Deuces.